You can do Nayania Baria, Nayania Manania, Manania. You can do Nayania Baria, Nayania Manania, Manania.
From the New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council, this is the A Cuppa and Yarn podcast.
Yama, and welcome to episode 3 of our podcast, A Cuppa and Yarn, brought to you by the New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council. I'm Michelle Aleksandrovics-Lovegrove. Thanks for listening in. Our guest this week is a man who has one of the best nicknames you could hope for. A man who played across 12 seasons in the NRL, most prominently with Manly, where he played 127 games before joining Melbourne Storm and then the St George Illawarra Dragons before calling it quits and getting on with more in his life and a little bit of league as well. It's gorgeous George Rose, event manager, partner, father, student, son, and he still kicks a ball about for his beloved Walgett. I hope you enjoy A Cuppa and Yarn with George Rose.
You can do Nayania Baria, Nayania Manania, Manania.
George Rose, thank you very much for coming and having A Cuppa and Yarn.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's go back to where it all began.
Yeah.
Basically, the start. So you're a Walgett boy, eh?
Yeah, Walgett boy. Born in Bathurst, grew up in Walgett. Me and all my brothers and sisters were born in Bathurst. So started off in Walgett, started school there, played my first game of footy in Walgett. And then from there we moved to Narrabri. My dad got opportunity to be the regional manager of the CES over in Narrabri. So we packed up and moved over there for a couple of years. And then when Dad passed away in 1992, we ended up moving to Bathurst. So that's where my mum's family's from. So just made it a bit easier on her to have us all there in Bathurst and get a bit more support. We were pretty wild kids back then, so it's it was good to have that support for her, I think. So and then so that's where I finished all my high school in Bathurst and moved to Sydney at the end of it.
I read a little bit somewhere. You went to Kelso High, is that right?
Yep. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about Kelso High. What was that like?
It was good. I quite enjoyed it. I really enjoyed school. I was someone who liked turning up, hanging out with my mates, and I did all right at school. So it wasn't too much of a chore for me. I enjoyed being there.
I've actually got something here. I'm just shuffling paper.
Yeah.
Little quote from your uncle, Royce George.
Yeah.
He said you were always going to do something with your life. And you held the 100-metre record at Kelso High, and you were an absolute brainwave. Yeah,
well, that's probably the nicest thing that he's ever said about me.
Is it?
But he hasn't said it to me. He was actually, he had a big influence on my life. He actually coached us in footy in my time that I was there in Bathurst, and I've still got the imprint of his boot in my backside because he used to give me a swift kick in the ass whenever I was being cheeky and not doing the right thing. So
really kicked you?
No, yeah, literally, yeah. He actually kicked me in the ass. I remember there was once I wouldn't train. We were doing something. I don't know. We were running laps or something, and I wanted to just go and kick the footy around, and he got filthy at me, and I got cheeky back, and he come and give me a boot in the ass, and I took off around the field. I ended up winning the race too, so it was probably a good thing that he did it. I reacted the right way that I was meant to do, and it helped me to move on and become better.
How old would you have been then?
I would have been probably about 12 or 13.
Okay. Small enough for it and big enough to be able to pick yourself up and run.
Yeah, well, I wasn't big enough to be able to throw a few back at him, so I did what I was meant to do and I ran.
Your mum was saying at that time that you did all the advanced subjects at school, so harking back to what you just said about how you actually liked going to school.
Yeah, no, I was a bit of a maths nerd at school, so like maths was always my strong point. It was a bit difficult towards the end because, like I said, I had a lot of friends at school, and then when you get towards the ends, a lot of my friends started dropping out and doing apprenticeships, taking jobs, or just dropping out of school completely. And I think by the time I sort of got to year 11, year 12, I was the last one out of my friends group to still be there at school. So
serious.
It just made it a little bit harder them last few years, but I was lucky that I had the support of mum and also actually the Ann Dennis. Is she the current?
She's
chairperson.
She's
chairperson.
acting chair of
Yeah,
NSWALC.
so at the time, I think Ann was doing a lot of work at the school as well. So between Ann and Mum, they kept me turning up to school and doing the right thing and got me through to the end. And I'm forever grateful for them keeping me in line and making me finish off school when I did.
So our councillor Dennis had a big hand in you staying there, despite lots of friends dropping by the way. So doing other things. Yeah.
It was good to have that influence. Like I think she saw the potential in me as well, and they were always encouraging and always. They had a bit of a strong hand at times to make sure that that I'd listen to their advice, and I am grateful that they did that. They went above and beyond to make sure that I made the right decision.
Because these days when we think about sort of encouraging kids at school, and I think sometimes the philosophy of every child gets a prize is that there'll be a competition but every child gets a prize is actually not really that good for kids.
Yeah, well, I think it's important that you're able to deal with losing and with not being good enough on the day, and learning lessons and taking them lessons from it, whether it's to encourage you to work harder to try and be better at that particular thing, or to encourage you to choose a different path which might be better suited for you. I think it is important to learn those lessons, and I think that's one thing that you get with sport is that you don't lose, you learn a lesson. You either win or you learn a lesson, and there's always something to be able to take away from it at the end of the day.
So with school then, it was all about you winning and as much as possible.
No, I think it was. I think it was the competitive nature that I had. Yeah, so I've always been competitive, and I do like to win. I think it's that competitive nature that I probably got a lot from my brothers, and backyard footy and backyard basketball and whatever things we'd play at home. It built that competitive nature for me, I think, and that's how I sort of approach school too. Is that if I was good at maths, I wanted to be the best at maths. If I was not real good at certain subjects, then I wanted to do whatever I had to try and be better. Or some things that there is things that I just wasn't good at, and I learnt that lesson and realised where my strengths were and tried to build more towards them.
So what were some of the things you weren't good at? You're smiling. If you want to say, so you were good at maths.
Yeah.
What about you? This is at school. Traditional things, sort of English, history.
Well, I hated public speaking. I hated it, and that was a real a real thing that cost me. A lot of opportunities and different things that I could have tried out. I don't know. I just can't do it. And even now, when I have to go and do talks and speeches, my body is just churning inside.
Oh gee.
I hate it. I would much sooner rather run at 20 grown, 120 kilo men rather than have to stand in front of people and talk. But it's funny because given a lot of the things that I do now, it involves me having to do that, but it is definitely one of the things that I still feel really uncomfortable doing.
And so here we are, we're sitting in a cafe, Lady Latte, literally in the heart of Parramatta in Sydney. At a table, we've got a couple of microphones here, we've got our cuppas, people are coming in and out, they're all staring at you, but then people are just going about their business anyway. But this is okay.
Yeah,
because we're one-on-one.
I think this is okay. Yeah, and even even with the TV stuff that I do, I find it okay when it's just a camera in front. Like I've grown accustomed to it. Yeah, I've grown used to it. But when you're chucking a live crowd, I start to get a little bit more anxious. I start to sweat, and the makeup lady will have to come and see me every break to touch me up and sort me out because I'm sweating my makeup off. And
you know what I do? I used to do a little bit of news reading at NITV. Pink highlighter. I still carry it. I don't know what it is or what the subconscious effect is of having that highlighter, but I feel solid when I've got a pink highlighter.
Yeah,
now,
right.
how weird is that?
Yeah, well,
Yeah, you just got to find your little trick. So there are a few things. Okay, so the public speaking at Kelso High. Your mum, though, reckons that, what did she say? Everything came too easily to George. And he got too bored too quick. Oh, this is your Uncle Royce said this as well. He did all the advanced subjects, and if it wasn't sport, he'd just do well in other fields anyway.
Yeah.
You're a lucky man.
Well, that's really nice words from him. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you, sometimes it's difficult when you say that that things come naturally to someone, that someone's just got a natural talent and a natural gift and stuff like that, because I think behind it all there is a lot of hard work that goes into it, whether
100%.
however that may be. When like I know with rugby league, when they talk about like blackfellas have a natural talent and that everything comes naturally to them, but you think back to walking around with a footy in your hand every day of your life, and if you're walking down a school corridor and you're chip chasing over people walking through the corridor, or throwing little short balls to your mate, but just having that footy in your hand all day, it's like you've just gone and trained for 10 hours that day without actually classing it as training. You've done passing, you've done your agility stuff, all them little things that you do. Like, it's not. Yeah, I think a lot of those little things build the type of person that you become, and I think I was always, while I was pretty nerdy around my math and stuff, I always, it was something that I was always constantly thinking about and
Was it
constantly
football?
doing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the old myth of the overnight success, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no such thing.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no such thing. It's just public recognition of years, Yeah. So you'd been playing. When did you first sort of really start? Not necessarily even playing, but knowing that you loved the ball, you loved playing.
Yeah, I played my first game of footy when I was 4 years old, and I think for. I watched my young fella play. He played his first game of footy this year. He's 4.
Congratulations.
And,
he's 4 as well.
Yeah, he's 4. He started playing for the Redfern All Blacks, and he loves footy. Like, he loves getting out there and just sort of they don't really stick to the rules. They just sort of do
whatever they want.
And, so I think I was probably pretty much the same at that age. But the difference was that I don't think I scored a try at all in that period. I remember when I was 5, about halfway through the season, I scored a try in the game, and from then, it just started rolling in. I'd score 3 or 4 tries a game, and I started really loving what I was doing, and my confidence grew. And then from then, it was just like everywhere you go, you got a footy, everything you're doing. Footy after school, footy at lunchtime, footy before school, come home, play footy with a sock on your knees in the lounge room with your brothers, and until you get told to go to bed. And so it was just sort of, it was just one of them things that you're just constantly doing and loving.
Instinctual, you think, or it was just they say following your passion and all that sort of stuff, but as a kid, we don't think of those buzzwords, you just do it.
Yeah, I think it was just following the passion. It was fun. You'd see what other people do and you try to copy it, and because a lot of the important people around me were rugby league players and followed the footy, whatever it was. We were ball boys as kids, so we'd watch the older guys play, and it wasn't so much on TV then as it is now, but when you'd watch things and see people do different things, you'd constantly try to copy them and try and do the same thing in the backyard at home. So it was always about trying to be able to do everything.
Your dad played too, didn't he?
Yeah, so we watched him play for a number of years, and he captain coached when he was in Narrabri. He played, captain coached over in Weewar, and we used to go over to footy training with him, and watch him do the stuff during the week, and then go down to the footy on the weekend and watch him play, and it was just good to look up to. And then even from then on, like with my brothers and cousins and that, we'd always watch each other play, and the same thing, you see someone do something, you want to try and do it and try and do it better, and
So when was the point then when you realised, or someone said to you, hey mate, you can actually seriously make a go of this professionally? When does that sort of realisation kick in?
Yeah, well, when I was in year 12, I had an approach from the Penrith Panthers to come down to Sydney and play footy, and this was at the time when I was trying to decide what to do with my life when school finishes. And so I ended up applying for uni at Western Sydney, and I took up the offer to go down to Penrith and play footy. It just, it still just seemed like the next progression. It still wasn't a thing that I was, going to be an NRL player or anything. And then it was still a few years. I was down here for 3 years in the juniors, just making my way up the ranks, the 18s to the 20s to reserve grade, and then even the week that I was told that I was going to make my first grade debut in 2004, I still, up until then, I still hadn't thought of myself as an NRL level player, as a guy that'll be playing on TV alongside the guys who are already there. Like, I still just thought, this was just me. I was just playing footy, and it was just at this level. I didn't think that I was, that next level kind of player. And then when it happened, it was crazy.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet it was. Your brothers played too, is that right?
Yeah,
your two brothers.
Matt and Trent. Yeah, they both played. They both played really quality football at the New South Wales Cup level.
Yeah.
So Matt won a grand final with the Dragons, and Trent, I think he was Player of the Year a few times with his club at New South Wales Cup level. But both really good players. They just didn't get the opportunity to go to that next level. Like for me, it was, I think education was always a thing I wanted to follow, and if I hadn't had that opportunity to go to come down and play footy in Sydney, I think I would have tried to go to the local uni and do something still along the lines of accounting or engineering, and playing local footy, still playing local footy, and being a part of that club for a long term.
So then, with coming to Sydney and working your way through the ranks at Penrith, what sort of happened then? So you were at Western Sydney Uni. What were you doing there?
Accounting. Yeah, so I started an accounting degree, and I think at the end of the first 12 months, I ended up deferring. Because footy was going pretty good, and then I started working and playing footy, and
no time to study.
Ended up being the it ended up being the right decision at the time, because the commitment to the footy, it ended up paying off, and I ended up playing for 12 seasons off the back of it.
Yeah,
but,
clearly. Yeah.
I did still have that burning desire to get back to uni and get that degree that I really, really wanted.
You're listening to A Cuppa and Yarn. I'm Michelle Aleksandrovics-Lovegrove, and I'm speaking with gorgeous George Rose. Now, I refrained from saying gorgeous till now, because I'm sure everyone calls you that, don't they?
Yeah, well, yeah, the nice ones. The nice ones
do. We'll be back just after the break.
Land Council members, are your contact details up to date? Have you moved home recently? Got a new post office box? Are you even sure that your address, your phone number, maybe your email address has been entered into the members registry correctly? Well, there's only one way to be certain, and now's the best time to do it. The NSWALC election is coming up soon on November 30. So, having your contact details up to date has never been more important. Contact your LAUC today. It might just save you a lot of hassle tomorrow.
This is A Cuppa and a Yarn, a production of the New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council. Michelle Aleksandrovics-Lovegrove with gorgeous George Rose. Now, I've got to ask you, I'm sure you've been asked a million times before, where'd the gorgeous come from? I mean, I can see, why, but...
It did offend me a little bit. Usually I expect people to just look and know that, okay, he's gorgeous because he's gorgeous. But...
No, I mean, you are.
Obviously, everybody thinks differently, so it's all right.
But it's a bit of it's a nickname.
Yeah, I got it when I came to Manly. I came to Manly the Manly Seagulls in 2006, and the ground announcer there, Grant Goldman.
Goldman.
Yes.
I know Grant Goldman quite well.
Yeah, great bloke, really good fella, and he gave me the name Gorgeous George just during one of our home games at Brookvale Oval, and it stuck. Yeah, it really stuck, and it was good. It's a nice nickname to have. Like I've heard some bad nicknames over the years, so I'll take Gorgeous.
And so do people still call you Gorgeous?
Yeah, I still get it a bit. Yeah. I mean, I've got it on my social media. I still use Gorgeous as my
it's your
Gorgeous
handle,
G
isn't
Rose.
it?
Yeah, on my stuff. So I'm probably still hanging on to it a little bit myself. So.
Oh, look, I reckon you should hang on to it for as long as you can. And you've got that social media handle. No one can take that away from you.
Exactly.
George,
it's locked in.
Yeah, it's locked in.
It's locked in.
At least you don't have to do the real George Rose.
No, well, I don't think anyone really wants to be me. So.
On Twitter, you're pretty active on Twitter, aren't you?
I do. I go through phases.
Yeah, so do I.
It's hard. Eh? You get right into it, and then you got to take a step back and go and live your life again. And
it's very easy to argue with people on Twitter. I find
Twitter's such a painful experience. So often there's so much negativity. People just sit behind their screens and just throw negativity left, right, and centre. And I think that's probably a big reason why I go through phases, is because you get caught up in that, and you can take things personally. And I'd rather be happy and enjoy what I'm doing and not have to read shitty stuff from people who don't even have real profiles. So.
That's exactly right. Well, people invent all their profiles, and they're all what do they call them? Trolls.
Trolls, exactly.
Yeah. And then they are able to say whatever they want.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Randy. We've just been delivered 2 more cuppas. Thanks, mate.
Too.
Twitter's it's an interesting place. I mean, I think Instagram too, and Facebook. I find less so, although I'm really clear. Are you on Facebook?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook too, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really clear with my Facebook though. I decided years ago, because you just get sucked into arguments with people.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I'm not going to get into arguments. I am not going to. And sometimes I just can't help myself, and I'll start, you know. And then I'm like, no, stop, delete.
I'm good for that one too. Like, you read it and you're like, you write this big educated response and you think, what's it worth? I'm talking to a brick wall.
100%.
They're not going to change their opinion or their attitude.
Yeah.
It's I've just got to stop. I'd try to avoid the comments section on any controversial black stuff, because I just know how ruthless people are, that some of the crap that they say towards us as a people, it's like, who are you, you know?
Yeah, exactly. When you were playing, dealing with negativity of the fan base of the other side, etc., and I know you're there with a team.
Yep.
Did people get pretty hot under the collar, hey?
Yeah. I think the hardest ones is your own fans.
Right.
When your own fans turn on you.
Okay,
I think that's the hardest one to cop.
Yeah.
And it's the same for all players too. I think when you're having that happen, you can expect banter from opposing teams, but when it's your own fans that turn on you, that's when it's pretty hard. And you do have to shut off from it. You'll often see a lot of professional sports people. They'll have a time away from it from social media, but I mean, a lot of the media coverage now, it's a lot worse now than
it used to be
when I was playing. I was playing, I don't think it was as bad as it is now. But there's guys that literally they have to stay away from social media because of the things that people are saying about them. And at the end of the day, they're a normal bloke who's got a family and kids, and he plays rugby league for his sport. And because he dropped the ball, or because people think he's getting paid more than he should be getting paid, they say all these terrible negative things about this person. And, again, as I said, they're the nicest people you ever meet. They've got a family. And it doesn't only affect the player, it also affects the people around them.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Their parents, their brothers and sisters, their cousins who are also on social media and seeing these things being said about a person that they love and care about and respect and know the hard work that person goes through, they all feel the brunt of it. They all carry the load of it. And they'll be the people that want to fight back on social media with these people. But, it's not going to... Again, like we said, it's a brick wall. It doesn't get you anywhere. Having arguments on social media gets you nowhere. And I really do feel for our current athletes, because people will say things without even thinking. And I know even some of my friends have said comments about people, and they might be an athlete that I don't even know, but I do just mention to them that, hey, this guy, he's a good dude. He's got a family. He's got other family members who will see what you just wrote about him. So disgustingly, and I know that you're a different person to that too. You're a good guy. Why are you saying something like that to someone? Would you say that to him if you were sitting across from him in a cafe having a coffee? Would you sit here and say them same words to him?
Yeah. And what do they say?
No,
I
they
wouldn't.
sit there and have a think about it and think, well, no, I'm not going to actually do that. But it's different, It's Facebook. It's it's Twitter. You can say what you want. It's like, no. Think twice about what you say, because it really does have an effect on people.
But when you were playing, people are still dropping balls,
Yeah.
all of that sort of thing. You'd have fans turning,
Yeah.
but this is before the massive upsurging social media phenomenon.
Yeah.
How did you deal with that sort of feeling when your own fans or sports editors or whatever are going, so and so played a terrible game, they were, they fumbled this and blah blah blah?
I think the most important thing is your support network around you, who you spend your time with, who you lean on, to keep you motivated, to help keep you striving towards your goal. So my family and a few close friends that I had, staff members at the football club, and teammates who I had that I really, I relied on their feedback, and I relied on, them to be able to. I shared with them, what I want to do and what I want to achieve. So at the end of the day, if someone's bagging me out and I say, oh look, this is shit, I'm not really dealing with it too well, they remind me of what I've done well, of what I can still do better, and those sort of things, because there's so much more to life than dropping a ball and have someone calling your names because of it. So yeah, there's definitely a lot more to it. But I think if you don't have them people around you to be able to give you that positive reinforcement, sometimes it can sort of eat away at you a little bit.
It can be tricky.
Yeah.
It can be really, really tricky.
One of the big realisations that I had, and I still share it down with some of the players that I work with, is there's 200 positive comments out there about you, but you only remember the one negative comment that you had, and you remember it word for word.
Yeah.
What about them other 199 comments that were so super positive, and people are supporting you and caring about you?
Yeah.
What do you remember about them? And they wouldn't be able to rattle it off, but then you sit there and you go, all right, well, let's delete that one, let's go back to the start, look at everyone who's commented, give them a like, give them a reply, interact with them, because they're the ones who care about you, who know, that you're more than just a footballer and more than just a public figure.
Yeah.
They're the ones who want to be nice to you and want to make you feel good about yourself. So, make sure that you interact with them, and the ones who are throwing negative stuff out there, whether it's because they've got their own thing going on in their own life, or they don't care about what's going on in yours, they'll throw that out there. If you give them the airtime, then it's only going to keep eating away at you. Keep focusing on the positive. Keep trying to be better than what you were yesterday.
And that's good advice generally, isn't it?
I still try to take it, now into whatever I do now, is that, there's going to be detractors in anything that you do. And I think, as blackfellas, sometimes we're our worst enemies when we're trying to be successful in different parts. And I always say, well, if there isn't someone out there saying something bad about me, then I mustn't be doing too well. If I'm doing well, there's someone out there who will run me down for it. So,
in the days when you were playing, though, Did you find there was sort of much of that, the rundown, or there was just
definitely.
from community,
Yeah.
just a support, both, yeah?
Yeah, a bit of both. Yeah. So people who think that you shouldn't be achieving what you're achieving, or
Wow.
think that they could have done a better job. Or,
Wow. It's
and-
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's obviously there's more behind the reason why they're saying or doing that, and as I said, it's on the lower end of the scale. Like the majority of people were positive and supportive, and
Yeah.
just happy to see you do good. I mean, especially if you're giving your time back and sharing the experience with other people, I think it helps to attract supporters and have people support what you're doing and want to be a part of it. So.
Quite frankly, I'd be too scared to run you down.
Well, that's the thing. Not many people said it to my face. So.
I mean, I'm sure you're a big pussycat, but I wouldn't, and I wouldn't do it to your face. So I'd probably, if I was so inclined, I'd be a keyboard warrior. Gorgeous, George. Not
good.
so gorgeous.
Yeah. I'll be looking for that tweet later.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
How's he calling himself gorgeous? I've seen him in the flesh.
Yeah.
He's not that good looking.
He's not that. I mean, I think it's a lovely, and knowing that Grant gave it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've known
yeah.
Grant for a few moons.
Yeah, he was great. I absolutely loved him, and I think that he just added to that whole Manly, the Fortress Brookvale feel. He was the voice of the Seagulls, and
Absolutely.
it was always Sunday over at Brookie. I still reckon that there's no better game of footy, especially if you're going for Manly.
How many years were you with him for?
8 years I was at Manly. Yeah.
8 years.
Yeah.
So I've got here 127 games or thereabouts.
Yeah, I think it was about that. Yeah.
So that's big.
Yeah, it was. I had a little hiatus there for a couple of years while I was there, but it it was good. It was a real home club for me.
You won the 2011 Premiership. You're Player of the Year,
Yeah.
2009,
Yeah.
and you came back after that broken leg. You broke
So that was my first year back after breaking my leg. So
Wow.
I broke my leg in 2007, and it was a really tough period.
I bet.
When it happened, I was told by the doctors that I'll be lucky to be able to walk properly again, let alone run and play footy and that sort of stuff. So it was a really, really tough period. But as I said, them positive people that I had around me really kept me focused and motivated while I had a lot of negative attention around the injury and whether I'd be able to be the player that I was beforehand. So to be able to get back on the field, and 2009, I got back on the field, played a full season. We won the World Club Challenge over in the UK to start the year off, and then I had a really good season. I was just playing really good footy and ended up getting the Player of the Year, and I got to tour Papua New Guinea with the Australian Prime Minister's 13 side at the end of the year,
right.
and it was a really good comeback year from an injury that was meant to be the end of my career, and it was a good feeling that year.
So what do you think the most important thing for you was in being able to come back from an injury like that, but come back to the level that you did? I mean, you recovered as good, if not better, as you were before. Is it a lot of it, is it the brain power as well as the physical rehabilitation?
Definitely. I had a lot of people who really believed in me and supported me. Without that, I could have easily given up and given in. Like, I'd go to the doctor for a checkup, and he'd say, "Have you found yourself another job yet?"
Oh, gee.
And it was
Thanks,
sort of
Doc.
like, just when I'm trying to be up and positive, and so I'd go home, and because it was painful. It was painful, and I'd be thinking, maybe he's right. Maybe I can't do this. But then I'd come home, and I had mates and family who were there supporting. They were cooking me good meals, and just being around me, having a yarn and having a laugh, and picking my spirits back up. And then I had trainers at Manly, guy like Donny Singe, who knew what I was capable of, and he said, you're fine, get in here. Throw some steel around, get on the bike, do whatever. You encourage me to do something, and you do it. Then that's just that little bit more in the bank. So even though someone said something negative, they're getting me in and just doing something, and it was just something that just kept building. And while it took 2 years to get back to where I wanted to be, I got back there. So that was the major issue going forward, and it was just through management, having the right people at the club to be able to just tell them, I don't feel real good today. I can't run on it today. I need to do something else, and they'd be okay with that because, during that period, it was sort of a period where if you said that you couldn't train on a certain day, you were sort of considered soft or taking shortcuts and things like that, which some people may do, but to know that they had the faith in me to believe, what I'm saying is accurate. It helped the recovery process. It helped get the job done and helped me get my body back to being the best that it could be.
And throughout all of this, and I know this is a few years beforehand, but that dream, that education dream that you had, that geeky maths Georgie person, was still bubbling away, huh?
Yeah. Well, I remember when I was sitting up in the hospital at North Shore, and I had this big frame on my ankle with screws and things going through it and that, and I was laying there and I was thinking, shit, I should have finished that degree. Why didn't I just do it?
Oh,
Why didn't
wow.
I just stick with it? And so it was sort of burning because I hadn't done nothing between 2002 and 2007 when the injury happened.
Yeah.
I did no study, no off-field engagement stuff. So
you didn't really have time, did you?
well, I could have made time.
But you
I could have
didn't.
made time for it, but
You were too busy being gorgeous.
I had a face that I had to upkeep.
That's
I
right.
was-
It was all that skincare. So that dream was still alive. So
Yeah, definitely.
it's sort of not surprising to me at around that time. So we were saying around 2013. It was, a few years. You won a few things, had a few successes in the meantime, but you went and studied commerce.
Yeah. I was with Greg Inglis. We did a couple of days up in the Northern Territory. We were out on a boat, we were fishing, and he started talking about how South wanted him to go and study at uni, and saying that there was opportunity through the Pathways programs,
Yeah.
and that they were trying to get him there, but he just didn't want to go because he had no one to go with. And I said, well, tell him I'm keen, I'll come.
Sweet.
So let them know that I'll do it. And so he let them know at South. The guy at South arranged for us to go through the Pathways program to get into Sydney Uni. And then the next semester we were sitting up in class together, and that's where it all started.
Did he do commerce as well?
He started, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot harder for him. He's got a lot more sponsorship commitments, and he had Origin. As soon as Origin came around, which was mid-semester, that was sort of it. It sort of wiped out the rest of his semester, and it made it impossible for him to finish it. But best thing that I did, both for my footy career and for me personally, was going back to uni at that time.
And you started commerce, you finished commerce. Did you?
No,
I don't know.
haven't finished. So
Okay,
I've been doing one subject a semester for forever.
You're still going,
Still going, yeah.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because life moves on.
Yeah.
You're a dad. You've got a
Yes.
family. You got to earn some crust. So how many subjects have you got to go off the top of your head?
I think if I get about 8 or so done, I could get it done in a year if I did it full time.
Yeah, true. But you can't take the time off. Nor could I.
Yeah. But
I'd love to be a full-time student
again. The
again.
thing about this course is that from the first subject that I did, straight away I started wanting to do things, and I ended up starting a business from the things that I was learning. And then when I started the business, it sort of decided where I wanted to go for the next subject, like the whatever issues that I wanted to know more about, like. Because I was new to being a part of running a business and that with my brother, so all of the things that all the subjects I've chosen to do have been things that I feel are going to give me benefit in what I'm already doing, and it's been that way. Every time I learn something new, straight away I implement it into the business, and it's been good. It's been getting more and more successful, and it's enjoyable.
It's a big year for the New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council. On November 30, members right across the state are headed to the polls for the NSWALC election. So it's a pretty big deal, not only for the future of the organisation and the land rights movement, but members, this is your opportunity to have your say on the future for all Aboriginal people in New South Wales. Now, the only way to ensure you have your say is by lodging your vote. There's a few ways to do that. Postal voting is one of them, but in order to do that, you need to ensure your contact details are up to date. I mean, it's pretty hard to get a voting form in the mail if your address is wrong, isn't it? So don't wait. Get in touch with your local Aboriginal Land Council and update your details, even just to check and make sure they're registered correctly. You never know. It is worth checking. It's the best way to make sure you get to make your mark with your all-important vote on NSWALC Election Day. That's November 30.
You're listening to A Cuppa and Yarn with George Rose. What's the business?
No Limit Management. So
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
of course. I went and checked out the website.
Yeah. So we do athlete management and run events. So you know, we've been running the Dreamtime Awards the last few years, which has been
Of course.
really exciting. Like, you know, for me, wanting to be able to showcase all the positive sides of blackfellas and what we do and what we achieve. Like, it's you know, something that I really love that we're a part of. We're doing our boxing. The boxing events have been unreal. We've got our next event is at the Convention Centre, the
Okay.
International Convention Centre at Darling Harbour. So
When's that on?
August 14th.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
to think, you know, from where we've come from to where we're at now, we're running events at the Star Casino and Hordern Pavilion and now the International Convention Centre. Like, it's pretty
Big venues.
yeah, pretty exciting to think that that we're actually doing it. You know, like who'd have thought? You know, when we were playing footy in the backyard back in Narrabri, Walgett and Bathurst, and to think that we'd be here doing what we're doing now, I think is really exciting. And the amount of work that Matt puts into it in particular, like it's it wouldn't be, you know, where it's at without that hard work.
So basically, you're the brother who coasts. Is that right?
Well, he's in there full time, and
Yeah.
I just try to contribute as much as I can while I can. And I think once I finish my degree and that's all done, I think I'd love to be more hands-on with it. But at the moment, it's just sort of when I'm needed, I jump in. But it's good.
Just to clear this up too, you don't want to be a boxer, do you?
No, I don't. No, I
Okay,
don't.
good.
I thought about it.
I know you did. Yeah.
I don't want to get punched though.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's that gorgeous face.
Oh, exactly.
You don't want people pulling your beard.
Yeah, that's for more brave people than me.
So you're trucking along with the degree. You've got your business with your brother. That's doing well. And I completely forgot you guys do the Dreamtime Awards.
Yeah.
You're a media star. You get to talk footy. And
I'm on TV, yeah.
Yeah, you're on. He's on NITV. So it's a black dot, isn't it? Yeah.
Over the black dot.
Over the
Tuesday
black dot.
nights at 8:30. A little plug there.
Yeah, that's fine. Little plug on our Indigenous television station. So that's going good?
Yeah, it's going real good. I'm on there with Tamana Tahu, Jaden Perry, Bo Dela Cruz. Dean Witters comes on every now and then.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Owen Craigie's been a big part of the program, and it's fun. Like, we sit on there and talk footy. The same thing I'd be doing at home if
You just get to put on some glad rags and sit there and have
get my makeup done.
Yeah, and have your face.
I actually quite like makeup. I'm surprised. I understand why women love makeup now. Every time I sit there and it's like, I could look gorgeous if I wore makeup.
What is it you like about makeup?
It makes you look different.
Better.
Yeah.
Better?
It's like, oh.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so what do you like the foundation? Do they put eyeliner on you?
No, I haven't gone that far. It's just
All right.
the
mascara?
the foundation.
Just the foundation.
Yeah.
They put concealer on. The concealers, if you've got dark circles, they'll put stuff under your eyes.
Yeah, well, I think they do that because I get around with dark circles all the time,
Yeah.
but they clear it up. It's like I look energetic and young and fresh, and like I don't have two kids at home stealing sleep from me.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right, and that's the lot of every parent, male or female. And the studio lights, they drain you as well.
Yeah.
So people think, fellas don't need to wear makeup at TV. Even if you don't, you do, because those lights just suck all the colour out of you.
Yeah.
Because they need to be so bright, so that you don't have all the shadows and stuff.
Yeah, and that's weird. All these little things that I didn't know about, and even like the shine and stuff like that. They were saying, "Oh, no, he's shiny," coming out and polishing up the head. And
So what, they're coming out every few minutes with you sweating if you've got a live audience?
Yeah, get a live audience, and I'll be sweating, and they'll slip a few tissues into my pocket, and so just dab it when the camera's off.
You were playing, weren't you? Didn't you go back to where were you playing? Moore Park Broncos.
Yeah. I was playing there with my brothers, and it was good fun to be playing with them again. They just this year I haven't been able to make it too much because of work commitments and stuff. But Matt and Trent are back playing. They're both there, so I won't play this year with Moore Park. I'll play at the knockout at the end of the year, but I'll look at playing next year.
So when you play Koori Knockout, Walgett,
yeah. Walgett Aboriginal Connection. We've had a few good years there, so that's just hard. The competition's so hard. It's ridiculous, and a lot more young, fitter, young fellas coming into it now. So it's hard to be a competitive team at the knockout.
Knockout's huge now, isn't it?
Pretty exciting. I'm keen to see how that goes, and Newcastle All Blacks hosting it. I think they'll do a great job of hosting it, but they'll also experience the pressure of having to play and host, and we haven't been able to have any success the years that we hosted the knockout, so we found it pretty hard. But
so, I mean, apart from all of that, George, I mean, you've got a lot going on. What does the rest of this year look like for you? The rest of this year, well, there's still a bit going on. You know, obviously the events we've got two more boxing events for the year. We've got the Dream Times on. We've got the knockout to prepare for. We also run the Walgett knockout 2 weeks before the big knockout, so it'll be on. It's on the 21st of September out at Walgett. Other than that, it's just enjoying life, enjoying birthdays,
family time,
Christmas.
I survived. May and June is the worst for me for birthdays and Christmas. I got between mum and my partner and the kids, it's they drain me. They've been a couple of months. So.
When's your birthday?
March 13th.
13th.
Yeah.
You're a Pisces.
Yes, I am.
Fish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can't swim though. Terrible swimmer.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not a water man.
I'm not. Yeah, I'll eat a fish. I even get a bit nervous going out too far at the beach too. I like going down to the beach, go a little bit too far. That's where the sharks will get you. And,
It's so funny because I was in the last podcast, I was talking to Mark Ella, and he was saying exactly the opposite. He said if he gets more than about 20 minutes away from the coast, like if he spends too long away from the coast, he starts getting nervous.
Yeah.
That's all from, growing up in La Perouse, and that's sort of in
nice
his
part
DNA.
Of the world there, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of stuff. It's been a big life. It's been a big career. I don't want to say you've reinvented yourself, but you've invented yourself in different ways. I mean, you're doing event management now. I mean, it's just it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Where do you get that inspiration from? Is there I'm sure there are people. Is there a key person who's inspired you to just keep rolling along with the way that life unfolds?
Yeah, I think there's probably a few people that motivate me. Like, I think, straight away is my mum, obviously. As I said, we lost my dad back in 1992. So at that time, there was 4 of us. I think Matt was 13. Marinda, my sister, was 11. I was 9, and Trent was 5. So she raised us all, on her own from that age. She's always worked hard. She's always, instilled good values in us. Kept us connected to our culture, and really gone above and beyond to make sure that we didn't miss out on anything. Even though I realise now how hard it would have been on her to do all of that. So, for me, my whole football career, she came to nearly every game. There wasn't many games that she actually missed. So my football career.
A good mother.
Yeah, well, my career it was her career too. Like I didn't do that on my own. She was a part of every step. She was there for every part of it. So every win I had, it was her win as well. Every award I got, that's her award as well. So she means a lot to me. So she's definitely a motivator. I want to make sure that whatever I do in my life, is something that she'd be proud of. That all of that hard work and sacrifice that she had, was worth it. My brothers and my sisters, they're big motivators for me as well. Like everything we do, together for each other. Make sure that we're all, looked after and just sort of take care of each other when we need it. And then, I think of like my pop going back, a lot of things that he had to go through, to the sacrifices that he had to go through to create opportunities for us. So all of them sacrifices that they had to make, for me, that's my motivator. That's why I'll have a crack at something. If I think I'm capable of doing something, I'll go for it, and I'll try to be the best that I can be at it. And if I can create an opportunity for someone else to do the same, then I'll do it, because I know that there's been people who have opened doors for me, and without their assistance, I wouldn't have been able to achieve a lot of what I've achieved. So if I can do that for other people as well, then I'm happy to do that.
And your kids too? I guess they're a big motivator, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. My boy's actually, his name's George as well, so he's George Rose the Fourth.
Whoa.
Yeah, so he carries the name of me, my father, and my pop, and I'm so proud of what my pop and my father did in their lifetimes, and I want to do a lot in my lifetime, and I just want him to be proud of the things that I've done too, and hopefully he can be motivated by some things. But man, he's a good kid. He's a good, caring kid, and I love being a father to him and Billy, my little daughter. I love being a father to my kids, and fumbling my way through that, trying to learn how to do it right. And you get a lot of advice from people, but until when you get thrown into it, it's a whole nother kettle of fish, and it's
100%.
But it's fun. You can have the absolute worst day. They can be horrible, or you can get so many things wrong, and then end of the night, they give you a smile and give you a cuddle or whatever it might be, and it just wipes whatever bad was in your day that day. Just seeing your kids smile at you, tell you that they love you or whatever it might be, that it just wipes everything, and then you're good to go again. It fills your cup.
Yeah, George, thank you so much for coming in and spending some time on A Cuppa and a Yarn. So we've had 2 cuppas. We're almost on 3.
Yeah, almost got to it.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure, and it's been good to sit here and yarn about this stuff, like to think back about them different good memories and positive experiences. So thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, no worries.
Cheers.
You can do Nayania Baraya, Nayania Manania, Manania, Manania.